So someone wrote in the other day and asked me a question on releasing the kind of the cottage cheese or the orange peel look on the chin. So the chin is you've got several muscles. You have like a mentalis and you've got just these angular muscles. And when all of this is tight, it kind of pushes the tissue together. So remember we talked about fascia being omnidirectional, right? And it's almost like a series of octagon or I don't know what I'm looking for, but kind of like a series of hexagon, octagon type triangles. And when the fascia gets restricted or tightened, it kind of permanently makes the appearance of dimples. Now we see this on our legs, but we also can see it on our chin. So one of the first things I like to do is I just like to take the Anma and I'm just going to press. And I'm just taking it kind of right in line with those big teeth, right? And I'm going to press and I'm going to hold this here for 3 minutes. So we hold this for 3 minutes because this starts to decompress that fascia. And as I'm holding, I'm now going to kind of just wiggle back and forth. So I'm holding, I'm going to wiggle a little bit, just like angling to the right. And what's funny is you might feel this other places. Now, I kind of feel it even in my occipital. So what that means is that fascia actually goes all the way back. I also feel it in my sinuses up in here. So it'll be interesting. You'll have to post in the comments maybe the diverted pain or what the tight restrictions in the chin kind of mean to you with other other places in the body. I'm kind of moving that tissue over to the right. Just holding. This is something you can do while you're watching TV. And as I'm going to the right, I'm starting to notice like, oh, there's some real adhesions here. And I even feel that in my neck. Sometimes you don't feel something right away, but as the tissue starts to decompress and you get closer to the bone, you do start to feel changes. And so kind of in this space, this is where this kind of angular muscle kind of overlaps. And so there's probably a little adhesion in this area. I'm going to continue to hold this for about 30 more seconds. And now I'm just going to slide over to that point of just the little seeking the pain more, kind of looking in this, and I'm just going to hold this here. I'm going to kind of come up on the thumbs, and I can really feel a little bit of a discomfort in there. And I'm really just kind of holding. And I'm using definitely a deep pressure. So I'm actually using 2 hands. And I can just feel how that's just releasing away from the bone, all of those adhesions. Now, with this kind of in this mentalis area, I even feel this in my jaw. Again, I'd love in your comments where you kind of feel that. I'm holding this area for about 3 minutes. Breathing all the time, breathing through. When you breathe, you kind of alert the body that this is okay. You're kind of calming that fight or flight. You're breathing through the belly, helps to feed the skin more oxygen as you exhale. You're exhaling all the toxins out of that restricted area. And I'm going to kind of go a little bit further out now. And I'm kind of anchoring in, and this makes it really nice because it's very, very comfortable in here. And I'm not only getting this area I want to get, I'm getting underneath my jaw and I'm just holding. And if you want more leverage, you can set your hand on a table. It's a really big close up, isn't it? I'm going to come back just for, You don't have to freak out looking at it so close at my face. Kind of holding. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to go all the way out, but you can go all the way out holding this, kind of releasing all of this. Now I'm going to go back to that center point and I'm going to hold it just where we were. I'm going to kind of shift. You see, I'm just moving that tissue along the bone and I'm holding here. You might even try kind of sliding up and holding. And sliding to the right. I really feel it in there. Holding. It's funny how everything is so connected. I even feel it in my left arm. I can feel it actually all over. We just don't realize how much tension we hold in the chin area. You know, facial muscles are involuntary to emotion. And when we hold so much emotion, it gets trapped in there and almost frozen. So that term of like, you get the face that you earned as we get older, that's because what facial expressions did we make the most? Take a couple more deep breaths. We're going to kind of slide over and holding. Now going underneath that jaw, kind of rocking. The key is the consistent pressure. Again, you can always just kind of stop, put your hands on the table. Pressing in, seeking out that area of tenderness. There's adhesions. Fascia loves to bind along this bone, and it has the strength of almost 2,000 pounds per inch. So as you're kind of releasing all of this, you start to see more of a refinement. You can even kind of play around underneath, seeing how tight that is. Kind of holding in this area. I'm going to lift my head back. It's amazing how I can just feel it all over. I'm holding. Got about another minute. Always remember to breathe, because when we breathe, we bring oxygen to that tissue. That's the nourishment, that's the blood flow, right? But we're also, as we exhale, all of the trapped toxins come out in our breath. So you always just want to breathe through it for the psychological benefit and also the physiological benefit. I'm going to come out a little bit further and I'm going to hold, kind of anchoring in there. And again, you might feel like, oh, this isn't painful. This doesn't hurt me. Stick with it. Because as you decompress that tissue and you get further towards the bone, you might have a different sensation. So this is something that you can do many times. You don't just have to do it, you know, right now and never do it again. One time of a release isn't enough. You kind of we release it, then the fascia kind of repositions itself and remodels, then we release it again. And so it's a constant. I've posted, I think in my YouTube, a video on the fascia fuzz. And it's really about how fascia just lays down like dust every single day. So stretching is mandatory, and all the things that we can do to release these adhesions from these habitual movements. So now I'm just going to kind of go over my chin area. And you're going to have to do this several times to really start to notice a difference in the skin dimpling. Another thing I like to do is kind of close my mouth. And so you see my lips are closed. And I'm going to anchor right under here. And I'm going to pull down. And so you got that little ridge here. I'm really trying to release the fascia in here. So I'm holding underneath the lip and I'm pulling down. And you can almost feel where it's a little tender. We're going right underneath those adhesions. I don't know if this makes the lips bigger, but wouldn't it be cool if it did? Going down. I'm just kind of holding. It's hard to talk while I'm doing this, so just kind of sit in the quiet. So I'm pushing that tissue down in that area. You might want to angle your head back. Holding. Breathing. And start to feel it even in my sternocleidomastoid. And now I'm going to move to the corner. I'm going to do the same thing. You can really feel kind of that pulling away of the tissue in that area. Just holding in, breathing. When you're breathing, really try to breathe from the belly, expanding out at an inhale, like you're creating more space for oxygen, and then towards the spine on the exhale. You may kind of play around, kind of angling, kind of inching a little bit deeper in that area. Pulling down. We've got another minute. Kind of absorb into that thing. We hold so much emotion in our face that if you feel something, let it pass like a little wave. You know, a lot of times we get filler in this area. If you've got filler, that's definitely something to take in consideration how long ago you did it. If you don't have filler, or if you've gotten Sculptra, you may feel little adhesions where the cannula went in. And all of those are fascial adhesions and they don't go away. Now we're going to go over to the other side. Kind of coming down, holding. Pulling down. You can feel this. Probably even in the gums, creating, opening up space, breathing. Just love this. Taking just a nice deep breath. You know, the one thing I love about the Anma is you can take it anywhere. Kind of like a pair of reading glasses, right? You can have one in your purse, you can have one in your car, one by your TV, one in the bathtub. Have them all over. Just holding, Shifting down a little bit more, seeking out those areas of tenderness, holding it. This is just opening up all of that congestion in that area so you can flow, get rid of those jowly little points, holding. Love this. We have one more minute. Concentrate on your breathing. All right, let's kind of swish this to the side, swish this to the side. And we're going to go right underneath and hold. And we're just holding deep in that area. Kind of the same thing. Kind of pulling towards the larynx, creating just movement and change, creating more blood flow and nourishment to this area, opening up all of this. And, this is just the perfect size to get right in there, deep into that tissue, holding, placing your tongue at the roof of the mouth. Just holding. Kind of turning into it. I can kind of feel right in that point where the sternocleidomastoid kind of comes up in that area. Many times the fascia loves to entwine around that jaw and pull the jaw back. Just holding. You may feel deferred pain somewhere else. If you have TMJ or you're a grinder, many times these muscles are really tender. You're just kind of holding. Got another minute. Kind of focus on your breathing. Maybe putting your head deeper into that if you want more tension. Brace your elbow and push your head into the handle, kind of creating more leverage. Now you're going to kind of angle that out, kind of going into that deep muscle, lifting the head up gently. Pushing in. And now we're going to go to the other side. Kind of going right underneath, pressing in and holding. And you feel the difference. If you have another Anma, kind of flush this as you're going down. Getting rid of all of that area. This is also really going to help for those marionette lines that tend to pull the corners of the jaw down. So we're just going in deep into this area. You can see this is one of the new colors. I think we call this bluebell. And it's actually one of my favorite colors of all of the new spring floral edition. We've got lots of surprises coming out with the Anma. It just continues to grow and flourish, and we get so many positive feedback from you guys and what you're using it for. It's just so fun, and genuinely appreciate your support for everything you do, and we really enjoy creating new content on it. So I'm just going right up into this area. seeking out those adhesions as I hold it longer. I feel just more depth, and then I feel where I need to go more. And it's kind of something that you do as you hold, the fascia starts to shift and remodel and change. You're able to go in deeper and find other points of adhesions, and all of this area is kind of regulated by the tongue. So while I'm talking, try thinking about putting that tongue deep to the roof of the mouth, kind of supporting. And as I mentioned before, you can kind of be in here and just holding. We're on our last minute, so we're just kind of holding here, kind of turning into it, finding different areas. Kind of coming back now to that back joint, that hinge in the jaw that sometimes can get kind of pulled back by the fascia, kind of pulling our jaw back, receding jawline, kind of in there. If you have TMJ, sometimes that's really kind of tender and can hurt, kind of nudge into that area. This also, if you've had a facelift or you've done anything, this is a great area after about a year or so to kind of open that up, to restore that lymphatic flow. Then I'm just going to kind of brush to the side, down. And that is a great chin and jaw release. If you have any questions or comments, success stories, please post them below. I always appreciate new content ideas. I want to create stuff that you're interested in or you want to try. And please like the video. I know a lot of people look at it, but the likes really are kind of a good feedback for me to understand. Maybe if I explain something or if you'd like it explained better, you can always kind of post that as well. Anyway, until my next video, I wish you all happy skin days.